Good morning, everyone. First, we would like to thank you all for giving us such a wonderful opportunity. I have my team here. So I have Raj here, I have Prakash here, I have Danish and Vikramant. So on behalf of my team, I would like to sincerely thank you for the Director for Center of Research, Dr. C. Umadevi, and also Vice Chancellor, Register, all head of the department, everybody, everyone, thank you all for giving us such a wonderful opportunity. I'm a bit afraid. Reason, I'm not like you. I have not done PhDs. I have not done any academic-oriented work, right? But putting me in front of someone like you who has done PhDs, who has done a lot of work in academic side, asking me to deliver an instruction, it makes me a bit worried, but I try my best, okay? So my discussion, it's going to be more focused on industry. How does it work in industry? How do you apply in industry? It's more of an industry-driven, may or may not directly connected to academic concepts or any work that you may do in academic side, right? I just want to set the stage. So the focus today, we wanted to help you understand how generative artificial intelligence should be used from industry point of view. So we're going to start with a simple demo, and from there, we're going to dive deep into the concepts. So this is at a high level agenda. So we would like to introduce DeepSphere. And we also wanted to talk about how generative AI applied in education. And we want to talk about some foundational skills, what we need if we want to work in artificial intelligence in business side. And what's the difference between traditional AI and GenAI? And how does GenAI works? And some of the industry applications, in case if there is any question and answer, we can take that one. So that's how the program is structured. So with that said, I would like to introduce DeepSphere. So DeepSphere is a company that I found, and I have my team here. So what DeepSphere does, I will give you a just quick overview so that you could understand. So we have 3 locations. We primarily operate from Palo Alto, USA. It's close to the Stanford campus. And we also have an office in Singapore. It's primarily focused on research, development, and product development. Correct? So that's what it is. So we do have an office in India. So 3 locations we are operating. We are a startup company. And in terms of what DeepSphere does, so DeepSphere brings a next level of education. What exactly it means? In the current education system, if a class of 100 students, all 100 not have the same level of learning ability. Some are okay, some are bright, some are average. When you have such learning disparity, when you have such learning challenges, how does the same curriculum, content, assessment is going to work? So what we do, we use generative artificial intelligence, create content based on the learner's interest. If the curriculum still remains the same, your course and all the other structure of the curriculum, what you define, that will remain the same. We generate content based on the learner's interest. If the learner is interested in learning, let's say, visual impact, more of understanding, studies more of a visual impact. So the content will build more of a visual representation. If somebody is interested to learn equations, the content will be built more of an equations. So it's all operates within your curriculum. But here the point is, generating content based on your interest, generating assessment based on your interest, and personalize the learning experience, okay? Identify your potential. Based on the potential, build content, make you learn, make you empowerment in terms of what you're learning. So that is what platform does at a high level. It is a full-scale generative AI platform, correct? So you could look at companies like Coursera, Udacity. They are not a platform provider. They are individual course provider. They provide courses. We don't provide courses. We provide content, and the content creates based on how your learning experiences. That is what we do. All right. So we are not just coming and talking. We also do deep research, publish book articles. So these are all some of the books. Most recently, we published a book on prompt engineering. So why does prompt engineering? As we heard, how the revolution happens in AI, using natural languages. That means the language we speak, the language we write. How do you use such natural language to interact with systems, correct? So that is what prompt engineering does. So we published a book on prompt engineering most recently. This book is available on Amazon. You can check that out. And there is so much talk about ChatGPT, correct? So, and also there is a perception that people think ChatGPT can solve everything, correct? It is not. Reality is not that, correct? So how do we kind of help people to understand what should be done using ChatGPT. So we wrote a book on ChatGPT for enterprise. Behind the scene, what does ChatGPT does? Conversational intelligence. What is conversational intelligence? When two people talk each other, correct? So we exchange conversation. How do you build such conversation in a system, correct? So we published a book on conversational intelligence. So all these books are available on Amazon, Google, you can check that out. So the point is, we are not just like, coming and talking. We do deep research. May not be more academic in nature like how you are doing or how you are teaching. Ours is more of an industry focus, bringing this one. So you could check this out on this books actually. And currently we are working with Singapore. So we are building a very large scale global financial model. So what this financial model does, so it will let you trade oil prices, correct? When you want to buy and sell an oil, at what price I can buy and sell, and so that you can make profit. So this is full-scale generative AI platform. Using generative AI, how do you do oil pricing forecasting and predict the oil price based on the currency location where you are selling? So that type of work we are doing, and a company called AIIII. So we also work with National University of Singapore and also work Neon Polytechnic. So we teach them, coach them, mentor them. They are using our product actually, right? So that's our work there. And this is my work at MIT. I was talking to the minister. So he was from MIT Salon. I teach at MIT Salon too. MIT Salon is the management program, MBA students. I teach at MIT. So what I teach there is AI for business executives, right? Somebody like a minister who want to come and study executive MBA, I teach that course. That is one of my students meet at MIT. And this is, I do work at UC Davis. So UC is basically one of the educational system. So I'm part of the board, and I also design curriculum, and I also help them to teach courses around cognitive sciences, machine learning, deep learning, all those courses. And this is my work at my Harvard Labs. So at Harvard Labs, I was a principal data scientist. I was helping build industrial applications, helping companies to understand how we can do. So this is where I met Mukesh Ambani. So they called me to come and speak about it. So I was working here actually. So they invited me to work with them on the Geo. So I did work for Harvard Labs as a scientist. And this is, currently we are working with SRM. So SRM uses our platform. So this is just a appreciation of letter they sent us, like, so the number of students they're learning from our platform. So they have students from all campus, Katangalatu, Ramapuram, Vadaval, Literacy, in all this campus, they are taking the platform, using the platform to teach these courses. And this is, we are not just only working with the educational institution, we also be the backbone for many of these companies, like, Wipro, Infosys, TCS, Cognition, whatever company you name, we teach them. So we create talent for them. So we help the companies to, like when they hire students from campuses, we help them to understand what's AI, how they could use AI from more their industry or project-oriented approach. So we train them as well. So at a high level, till date, we have trained more than 300,000 students, 100 plus organizations, 50 plus events. It's just a number that we just wanted to share with you. So this is a small introduction about DeepSphere. So what DeepSphere does, where we are coming into the picture, and me and my team, very proud of what we do. We would like to thank you for this opportunity, like, so giving us, come and speak about generative AI. That's it, let's move on. So we do have, like I said, a small demo for you to understand when people say generative AI, instead of just keep talking about a concept, let us start with a small demo. Let's bring this up. So what this demo does, this is our core platform. Okay, I told you, so we generate content, we provide study material, we provide learning resources, dynamically based on your interest, correct? So there is no set content. Like currently we have a textbook. The textbook is very static, correct? So that means everybody follow the textbook. In our case, the textbook is not a predefined set, or it's not a static book. It is completely dynamic based on how you study, how you move on, correct? So based on that we'll do. So I'm going to show you how our platform internally creates the content for you. So I'm going to start with, like, creating questions. Let's say you are a teacher, you want to teach a particular course. The course that we are teaching needs an assessment for the students. So either it could be descriptive or it's a multiple choice, true or false, fill in the blanks, match the following, whatever it is. So we take any content. It could be a PDF file, it could be website, URL, whatever you name, we'll take all of them, build assessment for you. So I'm just going to quickly demo this one. So here you see on the right-hand side, so select the application. You see there are three types of application. One is question generation, content generation, grading the students. Okay, so that means you don't have to physically sit how the students written or what kind of answers the student provided. We use generative AI to do grading as well actually. So I'm going to show this one. Let's start with the question generation. Select the question generation. Once you select, now it is asking where the model inputs. The model input could be from a text file, PDF file, whatever it is, correct? Anything is fine for us. It could be a URL as well, like a Wikipedia. You point to Wikipedia, ask any question. So I'm going to select, it's a text file. So now it's going to ask you, upload the text file. So upload the text file. So this is the text file that we are going to use. So now it gives an option to preview the text file, what text you are uploading actually. So once you upload this one, select preview. So this is the text. I want to use the text, make the model to understand the text and generate question out of this. The question will be generated 3 levels: foundation, intermediate, advanced. Foundation means student who is not performing well. Intermediate means students, average students. Advanced means students are very bright. So you don't have to instruct, the model knows what level of content question to be created, right? It understands this one. So keep in mind, behind the scene, we use large language model. So this is a large language model, internally works to construct all these questions, right? So all right, so I have text, now it is asking what question I want. It could be fill in the blanks, true or false, match the following, whatever question you want, including descriptive, select any one of the type. So once you select, it's going to ask you to interact with the model. So at this point, I have built an input to the model. I'm going to interact with the model, click submit. When I submit, I'm interacting with the model. So now the model takes all the input that I provided, the text I provided, the question type I provided, and level of complexity is the foundation, intermediate, advanced. That's a built-in algorithm. So it's going to take all and generate a question for you, right? So this question that, like I said, if you have a 1,000-page document, it will take like, at least 2-3 days for us to understand what this is all about and then create a question. Here, things are happening in a fraction of seconds, correct? So the question will be generated, you can download. This will be directly connected to our platform. So when students take the question, assessment, so this will be directly, so you can see a well fine-tuned questions, correct? So here you can see the question is generated and then scroll down. Since I selected fill in the blanks, so there is a fill in the blanks question with the answers, okay? So this is called generative AI, it generates the content, okay? This is the generative artificial intelligence where the content generated. So you can give any textbook, whether it's math, physics, chemistry, biology, or anything that you name, it's all possible, correct? Now let's say the same content, I want to fill in the blanks, I want a multiple choice. Now select multiple choice. So I'm going to select multiple choice. When I select multiple choice, this time, the same content will be used. Instead of creating a fill in the blanks, it will create a multiple choice question, correct? So any instruction you want to give, anything else you want to give, it will take all of those, okay? So the model is trained, correct? The model is trained in a way, whatever input you want to give, correct? Example, Anna University may have some standards. Some other college may have some standard. Some other college may have some kind of a policy guidelines to be followed. We take all of those and train the model. So now the model is fully trained. Whatever you ask to do, the model will understand, it will perform and create the question for you. So this is one of the core functions of the product that what we are using actually. Okay, so it's still generating. On the top you see it's running. So here I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter what type of question it is. Whatever question you wanted, we can generate all of this question. So this is one of the core function. Any assessment you want to conduct, whether it's science or a science and humanities or engineering background, all we can take, generate question out of that one. So the question could be created based on 1 page, 2 page, 100 page, 1,000 page. For us, it doesn't matter. And also, it could be a PDF file, or it could be in a URL, everything is possible. So now I ask for multiple choice, it generated the multiple choice question. You can see this one, it is a multiple choice question. The text input that I gave still remains the same, but the content is not changed. So this is one of the core function. Let's say I have 100 students. I want to evaluate and grade the student, right? So how do I do? So we train the model, any answer you provide, it will grade for you. Not only that, it also provides an explanation. Why did I grade this student, correct? Out of 10, how many points I'm giving, and why did I give this point? It gives an explanation for you. It is not a black and white answer, it does this one. It takes any type of assessment. Assessment could be descriptive in nature, assessment could be like programming in nature, mathematics in nature, whatever you do, it will take this one actually. So here also we are using generative AI, correct? So behind the scene, generative artificial intelligence, and that is large language model that's doing all of these things. Now select assessment. Now select descriptive one. So I'm trying to generate this assessment. So here you can see, now we'll go to the content generation later. So let's just finish up this assessment. So it has, like for a demo purpose, we put either you can assess the student's ability, how well they're writing programs, or you can tell how well they're writing in a descriptive answer. I'm going for a descriptive answer, select that. So here you have two choices. One is, if you feel the model is biased, you can give your own answer, right? If you feel the model is going to be very biased, it's going to take its own input and try to use that input for evaluate the student, If you want to avoid, that's possible. You can give your own input. So in that case, you can provide what kind of expectation that you have for the student answer, correct? So that is possible. So it is the actual answer, that means that is the teacher is expecting, correct? So the question is, what is normalization in machine learning? That is the question. So for the question, you have two options. Option A, you can ask the model itself generate the answer. Option B, you provide your own answer. That means this is what I expect from the student. So the model will understand what you are providing, then will compare that with what the student wrote. So now let's try this out. So this is the actual answer. So now I have two answers. One is well written, another one is not well written. It is going to grade both of those, and it is going to tell you why it is graded like this. That is called explainable AI. So select one of them. So the first student, so the student is asked about database normalization, not a machine learning normalization, correct? The normalization in database is different than machine learning is different than, correct? The student misunderstood, they wrote something about database. So the model understands what is expected, what is the students provided, and it is going to read them. So when you do submit, so this is when it interacts with the large language model. Both the actual answer, the student answer will be sent to the model. Now the model will do comparative study, then send back to the score actually. It tells 1 out of 10. Reason, the question itself is not understood, correct? So normalization in machine learning is different. Normalization in database management system is different. It graded 1 actually, correct? So now we'll change to the other answer. So now I have somebody well written. So in this case, if you see the one in the green color, sorry, it went up. So that is basically like, explanation why the model did this one. Okay, so this is how education is evolving right now, correct? So what we provide a platform where entire education process, such as creating questions, creating assessment, and also grading the students, all automated with full explanation. It is not a black and white answer, correct? It justifies why it made this one, correct? So now I have a second student. I'm going to go ahead and submit this one. So in this case, what it does, it is taking the students' input and compare what the teachers are asking for and see how well it is fit in. And it is going to say 8.5 out of this, and then it tells you why it is given the 8.5 out of this one. If the model doesn't perform what you were expecting, doesn't mean the model is not capable. The model is capable. It is up to us to fine tune. How do I optimize? How do we tune the model? How do we train the model? So that is where this comes down to. So bottom line, what it is, so we don't need to spend time to grading the student. Any complex questions, any descriptive answer can all done in a fraction of seconds. Behind the scene, generative artificial intelligence, large language model. That's what it's working, correct? So one quick thing, then we'll move on. Let's say it is not a descriptive answer, it is a programming construct. That means I'm asking the student to write a Python program, whatever program or a mathematical equation, it is possible. Let's quickly run one of those Python program. So I have a student who wrote a Python program with a basic syntax error. It will detect and tell you, I found a syntax error, I cannot grade this one, it's going to give like very low point. So this is a simple Python program. This is what the student wrote. You can see there's a syntax error in this one. When you submit this model, okay. It is still running. So it gave, okay, I think that is the right one. So here the program is well written. And it will give a 9 point, okay? So it tells you why it has given 9 point. All the explanation is given. Now run the other one actually. So now we have another program which is basically written with a syntax error. It is going to tell you, it found a syntax error, I cannot grade the student, it is going to give the low point. So point is, if we have a complex program to be graded, don't have to spend time and running this program in a machine or anything. All this done by using this kind of approach, correct? So you can build anything, sky is the limit. I'm just trying to tell you how our platform evolves, how our platform uses, correct? So that's all it is. Yes, so it gave so 0 points. The reason it gave 0 point, it found a syntax error, so it's not going to be graded further. Actually, the program itself is not going to work, correct? So I have two things. One is I want to show you the content generation. Then while that's going to take some time, while it is doing, I will move on to my other concepts, okay? So now I don't want a question, I don't want to grade the student, I want a content. I want to teach the student data science, or I want to teach students a complex topic which I don't have a content. How do I create a study material, correct? So we create a study material. So the study material is basically, it's like a printable material you can directly give it to the student, okay? So we don't need to format the content, you don't need to summarize the content, you don't need to check plagiarism, it's all taken care, correct? You give a topic, you'll get back the content. So here I'm selecting content generation. It is asking the topic, let's say I want to teach data science, type data science. Okay, so when I type data science, what the model will does, data science is a very broad topic, correct? It has a lot of subtopics involved. It will understand the depth, and then it will create a subtopic, and then generate the content for this one in a summarized form, correct? And there is no redundant, duplicative, plagiarism type of content. It will all be content like a human written content, correct? If you are an experienced professional, if you are an experienced teacher, if you are writing content, it will write the same level. I can sell them, correct? I want a content like Dr. XYZ, so it will generate the content like that actually, correct? So that is all it's doing. So this will take some time while it is doing. So can you go to the PowerPoint? Yes. So that's a demo we wanted to help you understand, because there is so much talk about generative AI. What is generative AI, correct? We may not be able to visualize. We want to make you understand, visualize. So this is why it's called generative artificial intelligence. It generates the content. The content could be anything in nature. It could be text, image, voice, video, doesn't matter. And the industry could be anything. We just picked the education because we work primarily in education. It could be any industry. It could be oil and gas. It could be energy. It could be healthcare. It could be consumer. It goes across any industry that you want to apply this one, correct? So just give you an idea, we picked education because you are all in education, how you can use generative AI in education to create content, create assessment, create questions and everything. That's one thing. So now we want to understand how do we get involved, correct? So with an assumption, some of you know already AI, some of you may not already AI. We want to just set some foundational understanding, then we'll move on. Can you go to the next slide? Sorry. So, all right. So this is something that we always talk to audience to make sure actually you understand when people say artificial intelligence, when you say people machine learning, all these things, what it means from an industry point of view, correct? I'm not, again, telling about academic side, from an industry point of view, what it means, correct? So when people say artificial intelligence, the first, what we need to understand, what does intelligence means? So things what we do on our day-to-day basis, whatever we do, correct? We read, write, cook, eat, all these are all some kind of intelligence, correct? If somebody asks me to read a Telugu magazine, I don't know. Why? I never studied Telugu. So see, there is an intelligence, correct? If somebody asks me to cook for something, I may not know all those things. Why? I never done this one. So anything we do on our day-to-day basis, it all has some intelligence. That's the point number one to understand. If such intelligence performed by a human, it is called human intelligence, correct? If an intelligence performed by a human, that intelligence is called a human intelligence, correct? All right. How does the human get that intelligence? Either a formal training or an informal training. Formal training in a structured, methodical, systematic way to go to a class and take the class, correct? Or informal means I can ask my father, mother, brother, sister to teach something. There's no structure, there's no measuring criteria. You just learn by yourself. That's an informal training. So point is, things what we do on a day-to-day basis, all are intelligence. Such intelligence performed by a human, it's called human intelligence. That human get that intelligence either through a formal training or an informal training. That's the point. All right? So now let's come to the artificial intelligence, correct? So we understand when we say intelligence what it means. We understand what's a human intelligence. Emotional intelligence is another component that comes part of the artificial intelligence. Emotional intelligence means when we act based on what happens in front of us, correct? If you see somebody's like, an accident, we immediately jump on, try to help them out. Or if it's something bad, we will kind of makes us feel very sad for them, correct? So if some happy, we smile, we enjoy, correct? So these are all reaction that happens on our emotion, correct? So that doesn't need a training. That doesn't need a training, correct? So point is, we understand when people say human intelligence, anything that human does is all intelligence. Okay, emotional intelligence, it's an intelligence happens, things happens on a day-to-day basis. So that is on a growth maturity. When you grow, you are gaining certain skills, correct? So this is what people say emotional intelligence. You act based on what you see in front of it, and how do you get that skill? That skill is gaining on your maturity, not on training, correct? So the training, what it helps, it to build your human skills. You can become an accountant, you can become a teacher, you can become a police officer. All these are all through a training program. Emotional intelligence, not through a training program, it is your growth and maturity as an individual, correct? So these are all type of intelligence we are dealing actually. So when we say intelligence, it could be a human intelligence, it could be an emotional intelligence. That is on the surface. When we talk artificial intelligence, finding alternate substitute replacement for this, correct? That is what by definition when people say artificial intelligence, correct? So creating an alternate substitute replacement for a human or emotional intelligence is what called artificial intelligence, okay? In industry point of view, like I said, in academic side, there could be hundreds, millions of definitions, which I don't want to go, correct? But that's not my expertise. Okay? I'm not even capable or qualified to go talk about it. Right? From an industry point of view, find an alternate, whatever human does, replace that. Okay? So that could be a human intelligence, or it could be an emotional intelligence. That is the goal. Correct? Find an alternate. If it's no alternate, substitute. If no substitute, replacement. It's fine for that. Correct? All right. Now let's come to the artificial intelligence part. Okay? How does it work in industry? Okay? How does it work? This is a mystery. People say it does this, it does that. Simple. Only two things. Only two things. Rest, please ignore. It has no meaning from industry point of view. Using artificial intelligence, you can create an intelligent automation, or you can create data science. That is why you see there are many courses on data science. A lot of bachelor's program, master's program with a specialization in data science, specialization in IoT, specialization in RPA, robotic process automation, correct? So all these things are happening. Why? Because using artificial intelligence from an industry perspective, only two things we can do. We can create intelligent automation, we can create data science, correct? So what is intelligent automation? Sorry. When you combine these two, okay, when you combine your intelligent automation, data science, it forms a digital transformation. So typically what I've seen people write on a piece of paper, digital transformation, say I have digital transformation. You cannot build a digital transformation until you truly know how to build intelligent automation, how to build data science, correct? So that is how it works. So using intelligent automation, data science, you can build a digital transformation. All right, so what is intelligent automation? I'm sure you all have seen the self-driving autonomous car. If you noticed, this company called Tesla, so this company makes every car autonomous. That means what we have seen in history, if we have a car, the car needs a driver. The car needs a driver, correct? Now, history proven, we don't need a driver. The car can function by itself. Such automation is called intelligent automation, where the car functions by itself. The car understands when there is a red light, stop. When there is a green light, go. When there is a yellow light, slow down. If the car is not going fast enough, change the lane. All these things are controlled by a piece of software which runs in the car instead of a human. What we have seen so far, if it is a car, the car needs a driver. Now it's commercially proven, it is accepted, it is functioning in industry right now, a self-driving autonomous car. So such automation, it's called an intelligent automation. An automation occurs without a human, an automation occurs without any manual intervention. So that is what we can do using artificial intelligence, point one. Point two, I'm not interested in automation. I want to analyze large complex data sets. I want to take data like Facebook. I want to take data like, people's information which is stored in LinkedIn. I want to take information that is stored in Twitter, analyze this one. It is practically impossible for the current system, correct? There's no way we can analyze taking Facebook and see how many people are living in Chennai, how many people are in India, are impossible. We cannot go and do anything, correct? How can you do? This is where you use machine. This is where it comes point to use the machine. So by definition, data science nothing but, correct? If you look at in industry point of view, correct? This is from an industry point of view. So data science nothing but apply science and data, extract hidden insights. How do we extract hidden insights? Apply science means applying science like decision tree, random forest, logistic regression, neural net, correct? So these are all different kind of scientific technique you apply on data, extract hidden insights, correct? So that is why it's called data science. By definition, apply science on data, extract hidden insights, it's what called data science. Okay, there's a lot of story people say, okay, data science means like data warehouse, reporting, this and that, none, correct? Simple definition, apply science on data, extract hidden insights, what's called data science, simple. When you say science, decision tree, random forest, logistic regression, neural net, so and so. Why does it called science? This is part of science and humanities, probability and statistics, correct? If you study, that's why it's called data science. All right, so a digital platform, this is a US-based company, so if you look at the food delivery companies like Uber or DoorDash, I don't know what we have here actually. So these companies operates in a full-scale digital. That means every piece of information digitally moves. Okay, let's say if I want to go to here to Tambaram or Meenambakam airport, I can call Uber and tell pick up location, drop up location, time to pick up. That's it. The rest everything fully automated. So what it does, it understands the local currency, it understands the time it takes to get there. In case if there is an accident, it does the reforecasting, it tells you how much more time it will take, how much cost is involved. So all these things by itself, and that is why it's called a digital transformation. The information moves digitally, the action decision taken based on the digital, the action information process to help to take the decision is also done through digital. There's no human intervention. So that is why it's called digital transformation. So what happened? Okay, so the content generation that what we ran, so if you see, he asked for data science, it created a PDF file, it's created a Word document. So here you can see very well structured, correct? A content that is summarized, very structured, you can directly give it to the student. So one of the demo that we did, question generation, assessment, and content generation. So the content generation set, it's going to take some time. So it created, so this is a content. So this content, you can directly give it to the student. The content is summarized. The content doesn't have any plagiarism. The content is built based on your taxonomy. You can tell what I wanted. It takes all the input and builds the content, right? So this, people ask me, can ChatGPT do this one? Answer is no. You cannot get this kind of content from a ChatGPT. You can get some basic content. But this is, if you look at here actually, it talks from introduction to data science, and then it goes on to understanding about data types, data structure, everything that somebody should know before even go to data science, correct? So these are the subtopic it internally understood. That's the intelligence algorithm that we built, correct? So this is done through using a large language model. All right, can you go back to the PowerPoint? Okay, so that's a digital platform. So sorry. Okay, so now let's get to the point. How does all it possible? Okay, so we were talking about an intelligent automation. We were talking about data science. We are talking about digital trends. How does it all possible? So this is where machine learning comes into picture. Okay, so don't get confused with people say machine learning, deep learning, all those things, correct? So machine learning is just an abstract term. There is no connection between machine learning and a deep learning. Literally, there is no connection at all, correct? So don't get confused. Machine learning, it is an abstract terminology. It tells teach, train, test, deploy machine, correct? So point is, if you wanted to build an artificial intelligence, the goal is to teach machine, not a human. The goal is to teach a machine, and that is why machine learning comes into picture. So the fundamental skill which is needed to learn all these things is machine learning. That is point to understand. Okay? So now, how does the machine learn what the machine is learning, correct? So point one, how the machine is learning what the machine is learning. There are two approaches primarily. One is a statistical-based learning approach, a neuron-based learning approach. Statistical-based, like you understand standard deviation, mean, mode, etc. It uses that kind of a technique to understand what the pattern the data sets and then build its own algorithm. Let's say I'm not that, I'm a human. I can think, act like a human. It also uses that technique. So that is why deep learning models are like a neuron-based approaches. It acts almost like a human, correct? So how the machine is learning, two approaches. As I said, the statistical-based learning approach, neuron-based learning approach. Second, what is it machine learning, correct? It is a very simple thing. We as a student, what we learn. We as a student learn about vision, learn about the processes, learn about languages. Like now I am speaking to you, you are listening my voice, that's a language. So language means through both spoken and written, so that is one way of learning. Vision, you see and learn. Process, you do and do, you do problem solving and then learn from there. So this is basically what we are trying to connect actually. In industry, there is a specific terminology. People talk about computer vision, people talk about natural language processing, people talk about robotic process automation. So all these are all getting connected, correct? All these are all getting connected. How the machine is learning, what the machine is learning. What the machine is learning, computer vision, natural language processing, robotic process automation. Computer vision, natural language processing, robotic process automation. Computer vision, the machine learns about images, videos, etc. Natural languages are like spoken and written. Processes, anything we solve problems, correct? Sequence of steps we take to solve problem. It learns those steps. So that is the robotic process automation. Now you can connect this back to a human. We as a human read, okay, how do we read? Okay, through our mouth, correct? And how do we see? Through our vision. How do we do? Through our hands. So we're just connecting all the dots and saying like, language, natural language processing. Vision, computer vision. Processes, robotic process automation. So point is two things. How the machine is learning, what the machine is learning. How the machine, statistical, neuron-based approaches. What the machine is learning, vision, language, processes. All right, this is an important topic to understand. So what kind of intelligence we are building, correct? So far, industry has been building narrow intelligence. What does it mean? Let's take the function what we looked at, autonomous car. The car function only knows how to function a car. It doesn't know beyond that point. So the intelligence what we build, it's a very narrow focused, correct? Let's say you are building a recommendation system for Amazon. correct? So what it does, when a customer comes to the Amazon website, it recommends certain products, correct? So that is a narrow focused intelligence. It works only for a particular industry, particular problem, particular area, correct? It doesn't go beyond this one. But industry feels we don't want that kind of intelligence. We want to build a very generalized model. So this is where generative AI comes into picture. A model which is not narrow focused, a model is capable of solving many problems across many industry. So that is what industry wanted to go. That is called generative AI, a generalized model. So industry don't want to build anything. Industry want build generative AI. So if you are teaching right now traditional AI, I would say simply stop them. It has no meaning, it has no value, there's nobody's going to use this one. Don't build any model from scratch. That is what narrow focused models are all, right? You build a model solving problems like classification, regression, clustering, association, all these models. It has no meaning, nobody's going to use this one. So industry won't build generalized model. So that is where industry is trying to go. So the problem with these two models, you have to train them. Training is very extensive resources involved, cost involved, compute power involved, data involved. We don't want to train this model. We want to make the model to work like a human. That is called superintelligence. The superintelligence is something that acts like a human. Without any training, the model performs how we perform, correct? How we perform. We have a basic skills. With that skill, we perform. We want to get to that point. That intelligence called superintelligence. So where industry stands right now, industry heavily focused on building narrow intelligence, but industry want to move out from narrow intelligence, build a generalized model, but ultimately we want to get to superintelligence. Okay, so this is just a timeline. It's not me telling the timeline. It's from industry research, industry people selling. By 2025, the foundational, the generalized model will become mainstream. By 2030, you will see superintelligence coming into mainstream. So these are all some numbers, statistics, industry provided. I'm just putting to here. So currently the focus is more of building narrow intelligence. That is what we teach students. Teaching students about classification, regression, clustering, association, anomaly. These are all a very narrow focused problem. We don't want this. We wanted to focus more generalized. That is going to be mainstream in 2025. But in both the cases, you are training the model, which we don't want to do. We want to focus more of building a superintelligence where the model functions like a human without any training. So that is going to happen in 2030. It's just a number to understand. So now it's time to get into generative AI. Okay? So what is generative AI? So I'm going to skip this one. So if you look at here, so what we studied so far, about a narrow intelligence, correct? If I'm taking a car, autonomous car, the autonomous car knows only one function, correct? It doesn't go anything beyond, correct? But how do we take that kind of a model and transform it to a generalized model? So this is where industry comes into picture. So this is a traditional AI. So what we teach for student or what the students are doing or what industry has been doing. So building models around classification problem, regression problem, clustering problem, association problem like this. So this is a traditional approach. Industry don't want to do this anymore. Industry want to build a model which is capable of solving many problems across many industry. So that is what industry is focused on right now. So now industries wanted to move away from this one, create generative intelligence, which is a generalized model capable of solving many problems, which I'm going to explain. Correct? How does the generative AI works? This is where large language model comes into picture. What is large language model? I told you, I have a textbook. I want to take the textbook and make the machine to understand like a human. So we read the entire textbook and tell in a summarized way, this is what I understood from the textbook. So here I'm reading a large text, correct? Like for example, you are sending a text on a cell phone. That's a very short text. The traditional natural language processing, what we do so far, correct? So we have teaching our student to understand about natural language processing. We teach about language model. We teach about sentence classification, word classification, sentiment analysis. All these are all dead. Dead. Nobody's going to use anymore, correct? It is to have no meaning. Please do not teach the first student actually. It is not going to add any value to them actually. Why? Now we have a model which performs much better advanced level than what we experience in the natural language processing, correct? So it is not required actually. So that model is called large language model. It understands something like a Wikipedia. You could imagine in Wikipedia how many pages are there, like thousands of pages. You can point the model to and make the model to learn like this. Let's say you have like a research paper, you have a publication, you have a news article, correct? All these things model can learn and act like a human, correct? That cannot be possible in a simple traditional natural language processing that what we have experienced so far. So we need a model which understands very complex large text in the form of text, image, video, voice. That is called large language model because it deals with a huge amount of text, correct? So that is one point. Okay. So I talked about this model, generative AI. It's a foundation model. That means you don't have to build anything from scratch. Traditionally, what we teach students, build a model, train a model, test a model, deploy the model. None We don't need to do all those things. You take a model which is already pre-trained, use the model to solve your problem. So my problem is energy, my problem is a consumer, my problem is the health. Why do I need to build everything from scratch? It's not required. So you take the foundation model and build those one. So that is why you see there's a foundation. The model solves several industry problems. It is not just one particular problem. It could be problem in industry, it could be problem in healthcare, energy, oil and gas, whatever industry problem, it can solve all of those. Okay, so why does it called generative AI? So the reason it is called generative AI, it generates the content. Okay, generates the content. Let's say if I want to talk about a particular topic, I don't know what to go and speak about it. I am asking the model, give me a particular, content to speak about a particular topic, it will give you this one, based on what the model has been trained, okay? So this generates the content. Let's say I want to create a video. I want to create a video which basically describes how do I solve a plus b whole squared. It creates a video for you. Let's say I want to create an image, a visual representation of a city of Guindy. How does city of Guindy look? It creates a visual representation, a geographical map for city of Guindy. So it generates the content. The content could be in any form. Content could be text-oriented, it could be image-oriented, it could be voice-oriented, it could be video-oriented. So that is why it's called generative artificial intelligence. These content are created artificially, not like a human, correct? We don't need to sit down and create a video, correct? Composing music also possible. You tell, I need a song like Raghuman, I need a song like AIIII, it creates for you, correct? How? You have to train the model, give few songs for the model to understand, then you ask question, this is scenario, give me a song, it will create for you, correct? So it creates content in any form that you could think and imagine, correct? So whatever we are having challenges, correct? We thought music means it's only AIIII, music means Raghuman, now things are changed, correct? They have only certain limitation. They can go only within what they know. This can go anywhere in the world. Anybody else you want to point, correct? So I can put any music that I want and compose and create a unique music. It is possible, correct? And I can take any video that has been already published and then come up with a unique, innovative way of doing this one. It is possible, correct? So point is, it generates the content. That is why it's called generative artificial intelligence. Okay, so I did talk about large language model. I'm not going to spend too much time actually. I just want to quickly cover. So what does large language model does? Like I said, it takes about huge amount of text in any form that you may have, correct? Taking Wikipedia, takes your PDF, taking your textbook, and then build intelligence out of this one. What kind of intelligence, correct? So this is where anything that you could think. The one example that I could think, conversational intelligence. Conversational intelligence means an intelligence acts like a human, correct? So when two people talk, correct? So these people are talking in their own natural languages. Like that, you can interact with the system through your own natural languages like a human. So I'm going to treat the model as a human, ask a question, the model is going to respond, right? So if you interact with the ChatGPT, you're asking a question, you're getting a response. That is a conversational intelligence because the question that what you ask, like a human. So when you ask such a question, the model understands what you're asking, it generates a response like a human. So that is the reason it is called conversational intelligence. So the point what I'm trying to make, using large language model, you can build conversational intelligence in the form of like two humans are talking each other, how humans are talking each other. There is no set boundaries. You can ask any question. You can talk about movie. You can talk about social activity. You can talk about politics. You can talk about anything. It will understand. It will generate content and interact with you. That is the capability of large language model. So this just some example. I think the slides are not kind of messed up. So on the top, you see the traditional natural language processing. At the bottom, you see large language model. On the traditional natural language processing, I'm sure if you worked already, there's a model called BERT, bidirectional encoding representation, transformer architecture, then also LSTM RNN, long short-term memory, recurrent neural network. These are deep learning model, what we use in the traditional natural language processing. So these models are dead, okay? We don't have to use this model. Instead, I'm sure you already heard about ChatGPT, that's from a company called OpenAI. Similarly, we have companies like Google, Facebook, all these companies that have open source models. So this is what industry wanted to use. Industry don't want to spend time on the traditional neuro-focused intelligence that's building natural language processing kind of application. They don't want to do this. Instead, they want to spend time on building something on large language model. So that is where you see OpenAI, GPT model comes into picture, GPT 3.5, 3.4, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, etc. So all these models are coming to picture in the current state. Okay, so this is, again, I'm not selling anything. So we provide trainings on generative AI. So I'm just trying to say, if you are interested to get started, how do I get started? There's no such program currently exists except our program, correct? So people are trying to explore, exploit, but we have an educational program, so currently focused on bringing generative AI through an academic learning process. So we offer courses, and these courses are structured foundation, intermediate, advanced level. So these level basically helps you to move forward at each different stage. Correct? Foundation, it is kind of helping you to understand concepts, theories, use cases, etc. Intermediate, kind of helping you to understand individual building blocks. Advanced level, it kind of brings the industry into a use case and build an industry application. So that is what it does. And this is the curriculum. I'm going to skip this one. And this is one point I want to cover, then we will leave it at the end. So let's say this question was yesterday asked, a lot of people asked about. I'm a researcher, I have a research publication. Okay, I'm a teacher, I teach students for this one. Can I use can I use generative AI and large language model to point to this particular journals or particular research paper or particular document that I'm using for teach student and be creative of asking questions and get to know more insights? Yes. So that is called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. So that means any source you have a library, it will point the model to the library, let the model learn what you have in the library, you can ask questions, okay? You can interact with the model, generate question, ask model to content, any question you ask, it will get a response, correct? So that is what it does actually. All right, so this, I just wanted to give you, I don't know like whether this is going to be useful to you. So this is one of the use cases that we have done for facility management, okay? So what it does, using generative AI, we want to find out space utilization in a commercial building like this, how many people can sit, how many people can be occupied most efficiently. It will do a prediction, I'll tell you, layout recommendation. So what we thought is typically, when we want to construct a building, we need a civil engineer to create a layout. Now things got changed. We don't need a civil engineer. You just give the specification, the model can generate the layout for you. You can tune the model to understand what you're looking for. So in 2,500 square feet, I need a house with a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom, so many number of windows, XYZ, it will generate the layout for you. So that is another use case that we have done. And then asset and inventory management. How many assets do you have, and when the asset is going to come for maintenance, you can do predictive maintenance. These are the use cases we've done. And the next one is like, I'm going to skip the demo. This is for the call center agent, like, in terms of like, how you can use generative AI to interact with the system. Like typically what happens when you call a customer service, the customer service call is answered by a human, but the human has a limitation in terms of what question you're asking, what response they're going to generate. Instead of that, we can use generative AI to replace the entire call center, correct? To replace the entire call center. In the call center, what we have, people sitting and answering your call. So now we are saying, we don't need people to answer these calls. We can use generative artificial intelligence to answer any question you may have in call centers, correct? So that is what it is. So last but not least, I just wanted to talk about one point, and then I will stop that point. So there are 3 key areas industry is evolving in this space, okay? What does it mean? One is called ethical AI, second is called responsible AI, third is called explainable AI, correct? That's not in my slides, but I wanted to tell you. So why does this matter to you? When you are asking model to learn publicly available information, when I say publicly available information, so the model learns anything, everything available in a public domain, either a LinkedIn or a Twitter or a Facebook, YouTube, whatever you post, these are all information. Nobody have any rights except the content owner, correct? The model can learn and understand. When the model learns and understands, let's say I'm asking a personalized question about, okay, somebody. Let's say I'm asking a personal question about the past Chief Minister Jayalalitha. The model now ethically what it's supposed to do, ethically what it's not supposed to do, okay? Because my question is very personal in nature. Since the model is trained on a publicly available information, it knows something about Jayalalitha. It may say XYZ, correct? But that ethically is not correct. When I ask such question, the model should stop me and tell me, hey, you are asking a personalized question about somebody, I'm not going to respond to you. So that is called ethical AI, what to do, what not to do. So when you are building large language model, make sure this component in place. The ethical AI, understand what ethical AI says. When you train a model publicly available information, it learns everything what is available. But your question is not about public information, something personalized information. So that model should understand, I'm not going to answer this question because it's very personalized information. So when people say ethical AI, what to do, what not to do. That is point 1. Responsible. Let's say nobody is going to perfect in the world, correct? We all have issues. We all have things to improve. If something bad happened, okay, the model is now responding to something bad things, okay? Let's say the model shouldn't take question from the kids. The model is taking question from the kids and then giving some bad answers or giving some bad things for the kids. Who's responsible for it? Now you are asking ChatGPT, correct? So I just want to correct one thing. ChatGPT is not a large language model, it's a product, correct? There's a misperception. People think ChatGPT, it is not a model, it is a product built by this company OpenAI. Underneath, they have different models, correct? So that is what it is. All right? So the responsible AI, when something went bad, who's responsible for it? Okay, that is what? Responsible AI. The last one, explainable AI. The people who's going to use this one, they are not engineers, they are not scientists, they are not PhD holders, they are not researchers. They are average people. How do you explain the model outcome to somebody, correct? As I told you, I am asking the model to grade the student. The model is grading, and it also gives an explanation that is called explainable AI. So if your goal is to learn about this space, generative AI, large language model, also learn explainable AI, responsible AI, ethical AI. With that said, I want to thank you all for your time. I hope you all enjoyed the session. I really wanted to make sure you understand the core concept from an industry perspective, which me and my team believe we delivered well. Thank you so much.